Hello.
Hello, Michael. What do you want to talk about today, man?
Let's talk about why. Let's talk about why our grapes are what they are.
Why our grapes are what they are. It's been a different season. In this newsletter, you will find a new report from the Grower Association where our yields are going to be significantly less than originally expected as an industry, and that we're included in that too, of course. Grapes in general just weighed less this year. There was some sizing issues at the beginning. Even though we're in the best varieties right now, we're not seeing any issues with size. The grapes themselves weighed less. It's taking more bunches to fill up a box. The original estimate was about 25 million boxes out of the state of Sonora, and I think we'll be lucky if we get over 21 million, which is a significant drop. It's been hot, but it's always been hot. It's not like it's never been hot in Sonora. We're in the middle of the desert. We're famous for it, right? But it's been challenging for color on the late flames. Shooks are down, and in general, even though we have very, very low shooks ourselves at Divine Flavor and Grupo Alta. But I want to take a chance, Michael, to tell you something that we hear a lot, and it's why we're not cheap, right? And it sounds kind of weird to talk about this, or maybe a little bit taboo, but I think it's important to explain why, even though we do explain it on a one-to-one basis to most of our customers. Being the best of what we do requires a lot of sacrifices that end up being economical sacrifices or production sacrifices, and it takes a lot of infrastructure. It takes a lot of manpower to do what we do and to achieve the flavor that we do. One of the best ways to explain this, all right, first of all, is a lot of the proprietary varieties that we carry, it comes with a royalty paid to the genetic company, right? So that's part of the cost structure and why it's more expensive, but that's very obvious, and most people, if not everyone, knows that already. But also, to achieve high flavor, we have to be very careful on how many bunches we leave on the vine, right? We leave significantly less bunches per vine than our competitors. And that is the only way to guarantee the flavor and the quality that we expect on a Divine Flavor box. In order to achieve that, and sometimes growers leave more than 40 bunches, 36 bunches. We leave, depending on the variety, but anywhere from 24 to 32 bunches. And that is to guarantee to your consumer, our consumers, the quality and the flavor that they are expecting. So not only do we leave less bunches, but we spend more money in throwing away bunches, right? So that's one of the things, and that turns out to be a lower yield, but with a much better product, right? That's one of the things that we see. The other thing, it requires a lot of patience. Harvesting for flavor, for Brix, requires a lot of patience. And there's always a gap, right? Not all the bunches are ripening at the same time. So you could harvest when it's borderline ready and risk having a lot of subpar flavor and Brix grapes, or you can wait until you're a little bit over the line. And what does that, that's another cost that is higher with us, because we have some over mature fruit, because we cannot risk having under mature fruit. We don't pack that over mature fruit because it clearly shows that it's over mature, and so we lose that, right? So our yields take a hit there too, right? So that's another important thing that we see, and a lot of more input in order to achieve higher flavor, calcium, boron, a lot of the input that we use on nutrition, mainly nutritional vitamins, the same vitamins that a lot of you guys and I take, it goes for the grapes too, right? And those are costly, especially nowadays where everything is more costly. So that's one of our costs are significantly higher than our competition, and that's the big explanation. The other obvious ones is, we talked in the bond report a couple of weeks ago, our infrastructure, our central packing shed, that's not cheap, right? It required a lot of investment, but it pays off. It pays off with the quality. funneling the QC through a central packing shed when it comes to achieving a quality for flavor goes a long way, right? So that's another important part of it. QC, like I said, the other important part is making sure that our workers are happy. That requires a lot of investment too. Now in our facilities, but also in our salaries. You know, we pay a little bit more than our competition. Sorry. We pay a little bit more than our competition, and but we spend a lot more in the infrastructure, housing, the dining room, the facilities in general. And the other, and it's also not only with the workers on the fields, you know, the pickers or whatever, it's also with our sales team, right? Our sales team, our people in the warehouse, our drivers, everyone, we feel that they gotta be like sort of shareholders in the company. And if we do well, they gotta do well too. And that also impacts our cost structure. Of course, from us, you can expect what you always had with us, right? It's high quality, high flavor, excellence in service, providing answers, communication, not only on what's happening today, but on what's gonna happen in the next couple of weeks. It's a tough season, it's gonna be a tough ending. Grapes are gonna be kind of tight at the end, but remember, we got you covered. We got the right varieties with the right quality to be able to supply you until you reach your California stuff. So that's it in a nutshell, why we're not cheap. And but it's still sensibly priced to a point where for the consumer, they're getting the bang for their buck. They're getting the value they're looking for. The right fruit at the right price. Thank you very much for your time. And I guess maybe I'll see you, maybe I'll ride you next week. I don't know. But thank you for your time.